Hello, Cube friends. We're back with another team draft on the Divination. So taking a look at pack 1 here, I think probably Grief or Channel are going to be among the most powerful cards here. I haven't played with Channel in a while. Let's see what we can do with that card. So here in pack 2, Moloch and Palantir are probably among the strongest cards in this pack. We could take Prismatic Vista as the safe pick, but yeah, I'm gonna grab the Moloch. It goes along with the channel plan. We're probably gonna want to be prioritizing some ramp spells. So okay. Mind Twist is also good with channel if we're trying to be big mana. Yeah, let's go ahead and grab that. Lotus Petal is fast mana. It's not very good fast mana, but it sure is fast mana. Ooh, okay. Triplicate Titan is something we can actually cast off of this channel. This one's interesting because it's also good with Flash or Reanimate or Tinker, so it can pull us in a couple of different directions, and we'll see if we find any other powerful enablers for it. So Unmarked Grave can push us more towards the Reanimator plan, especially since we already have the Triplicate Titan, which is one of the rare Reanimator payoffs that's actually not a legend. So let's grab this card. Tendrils comes back. We don't have a lot of reason to be in blue right now. We could grab the Duress if we're leaning black. Yeah, sure. Elvish Spirit Guide, also fast mana. Okay, I think we're going to have to take the Blooming Marsh for fixing here. Even though Gitrog is a really powerful magic card, I want to be able to cast our spells. Yogwill is kind of weird. So this is where we choose. Like, do we want to be the Grist deck or do we want to be the Yogwill deck? Let's move Spirit Guide over to the zeros. I think Grist might be better. We're being pulled in a lot of different directions on the unfair axis. Ooh, okay. I talk too much. Let's get this out of here. Definitely Nurturing Peatland. And Mindstone here. Okay, Grist would have been important in this deck, but that's okay. Maybe we'll end up Storm. I should learn to start selecting the cards before I start blathering about them. Then at least they'll get auto-picked. And we wheel the Gitrog. Okay, cool. So, definitely pointing towards a deck that would have liked Grist, but it is what it is. Not much we can do about it now. Well, Black Lotus. Not much else to say about it. We're going to play that in a land slot, and it's going to bring us more towards the channel and Mind Twist end of things. Atraxa Grand Unifier. This is not something that we can actually Unmarked Grave or Persist, which is probably going to be the pick here. Kind of funny. We have this non-Legends Reanimator plan. Ooh, Deep Cavern Bat is a card that I'm very high on. Thoughtseize that also attacks for 1. Sign me up. We might be able to wheel this Underground Mortuary too. We'll see. We don't have any fetch lands yet. Okay, I do like Beseiju. It doesn't really take up a deck slot, and it's pretty good interaction. Once Upon a Time is also a free spell that digs for stuff, but I don't know, it doesn't get any of our truly broken things like Lotus or Channel or Mind Twist. So I'm happy to put Naturalize in the mana base here. Kozilek is something that we can channel into, which is pretty cool. I wonder if we can wheel this card. I feel like it's honestly just not that good. Like, it only works with exactly Channel and Sneak Attack, I guess. You can't reanimate it. Can't tinker for it. I'm gonna draft this Hostile Investigator and see if we wheel the Kozilek. Ooh, Blightsteel. That's a good thing to channel into. Okay, sold. I feel like we had a lot of success with Fanatic of Ronus in the last draft. We're kind of starting to look like a very similar deck, but it is what it is. And here is Gold Vein Hydra, something that works with Channel, perhaps. It's also just a reasonable curb filler. And we did wield the Underground Mortuary here. Gonna grab that. And the Once Upon a Time. Okay, the Kozilek did not come back. White is evidently very open. Yeah, we can grab Kaldra here. I don't think it's going to make it into our deck, but we'll see. Railway Brawler versus Ramanop is interesting. I think it's going to probably be the Brawler. We don't have a lot of things to do with the Ramanop Excavator. So let's grab this, put it in the 4s. And yeah, this is not a pick. Mana Vault could be really good with the Titan and the Blightsteel. And honestly, even just casting Gitrog on turn 2 or something like that is pretty messed up. We have the Kaldra for the Stoneforge, but we can't really cast that card. Maybe Deathrite Shaman. And again, like, no real way to ramp with it without any fetch lands. Draft the Vault. Okay. Caustic Bronco is kind of funny. It's dangerous for us to attack with it without crewing it, saddling it, but that also means that it's dangerous for our opponent, vice versa. Let's think about this Nexus of Becoming here. So we can turn our big things into slightly smaller things that are just as scary, and it also is something we can cast with Channel and Mana Vault for that matter. Let's give this a try. Regrowth, Ulamog, Tarmogoyf, Sentinel. Our 3s are basically non-existent at this point, so Sentinel is a pretty powerful mid-range body. I don't think that the Persist is going to make, like, the Persist Unmarked Grave, is that good enough here anymore? Not really sure. I mean, together they make a Triplicate Titan, which is totally fine. It could also be Regrowth. The guard's good. I think we'll take the Sentinel, probably. Retrofitter is pretty funny with Channel, but given that we already have Unmarked Grave and Persist, I think we're going to grab this Archon of Cruelty. Once again, one of the few Reanimator targets that you can actually use those cards with. And now we have probably the option between Skooz and Nissa. But we seem to be the Reanimator deck at the table, and Nissa is going to be good with our various ramp spells, like the Lotus and the Vault and stuff. So let's give this one a go. And there's the Emrakul. Okay, so we can take the Emrakul. But we're already, we've got a pretty good suite of stuff to channel into. I don't know, this is obviously just the best thing possible to channel into. Let's just draft this card. Deathrite Shaman comes back, so does Yavimaya. I wonder... God, I hate putting Eureka in my deck so much. But maybe it's good. Or even if it's not good, maybe we should just give it a go. We can prove that it's bad. Portal to Phyrexia, also great with Eureka. Good with Nexus of Becoming. Alright, this deck is getting a little weird, but I'm kind of here for it. I don't know if we want this Moloch anymore. We've got some other X spells. I think we can play 16 lands. If we count the Mana Vault as a land, or we could go down one more. Coveted Jewel. Good with the things that we're doing here. I'm not sure if it's going to make the cut. Now I kind of want to cut the Sentinel because I feel like we're trying to do something really unfair here, and we just don't care about our mid-range plan. Scavenging Ooze is a good pickup here. I don't think any of these cards do anything in our deck. We could consider the Spirit Guide, I guess. It's kind of a shame that Deathrite Shaman doesn't really do anything in this cube. I think that card is really cool, and it doesn't require that much pushing to make it a little bit better. Okay, I think we're going to have to cut one more spell from this deck. Well, the combination of Mind Stone and Mana Vault makes it pretty close for me, so let's take a look at these lands here. We can play Lotus Petal in a land slot. We can play Black Lotus in a land slot. We can probably play Elvish Spirit Guide in a land slot. Once Upon a Time. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm normally used to playing Once Upon a Time as a land because if you need the land in the early game, you just cast it for free and get a land. But there's so many cards in this deck that we're treating as lands. Lotus, Petal, Spirit Guide, Mana Vault, to some extent. Our actual land count is going to be pretty low, and I wonder if we're supposed to count this as a spell in this deck for that reason, and shave one more spell. Our top end is a little ridiculous. Borderline bloated, honestly. Maybe Coveted Jewel is not it for this deck. Coveted Jewel is pretty sick with Channel because you can turn 6 colorless mana into 3 colored mana. Maybe the Shadow Spirit doesn't need to be here. That's just pretty win more based on what we're doing here. So that would leave us with 16 effective lands if we count both Lotuses and Spirit Guide as a land. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. There are going to be some hands where we draw all of these top end cards and nothing to do with them, but between the small Reanimator package, the Channel, the Eureka, and then all of the broken artifact ramp, I think we're cooking here. All right, we're on the play in match 1 here. Let's take a look. So we do have the turn 2 Channel into Coveted Jewel. I think this is a keep, so if we find something for the Channel, we just do that on turn 2. And if we don't, we'll use the Fanatic of Ronus as a ramp spell. Kind of keep that going. We can, there's a world where we draw, like, the Entomb. What is it? Unmarked Grave? And if we channel into that, like if we channel into Coveted Jewel into Unmarked Grave, we can even use that with the Persist. So here's something interesting. The Gitrog does not get cast off of just Coveted Jewel, but it does next turn. So let's plan to do that. We can Fanatic of Ronus here, and then with the extra green, we'll be able to channel make black with the Coveted Jewel. Okay, that's dead. And see where that goes. Well, should have gone for it, I guess. Now our hand does nothing. And Persist also doesn't even hit opponent's graveyard. Well, that's unfortunate. Okay, I guess that'll do it. Let's play that turn cycle over again, opponent. Okay, they took my Railway Brawler, Regrowth, and Gitrog. So they can make a Gitrog if they want. And crack in for 6, which makes us lose 6 entire mana off of our channel. Okay, here's Swamp. That's cool. Let's activate this 6 times and cast Coveted Jewel and see where that gets us. Okay, so we can't, let's see, so we can't afford the Blightsteel, but we can afford the Archon. If we tap for black, 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 plus play the Swamp, that's 4 mana, Fanatic of Ronus is 5 mana, and then we pay 3, and we make an Archon. That's fine, I guess. We're still in danger, that's for sure. Black, 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 and green. And then 1, 2, 3. And that'll get us to Archon mana. It'll gain us life. Maybe we would have been better off spending that 1 extra mana on Duress. Not sure. But I'm happy to trade the Archon with the Gitrog and then put it back onto the battlefield next turn. So we'll see how that goes. We drew Swamp off of the Archon trigger, and we're just going to pass. All right, there's the attack. I'm definitely going to block here. And okay, they passed it back, so that's pretty good. Let's go ahead and Archon a second time. 1 and a black. Opponent discarded planes. Yeah, they do an Ashen Rider, which is a little scary. So this is 4, 5. We can actually play a land and Portal to Phyrexia them. Right? 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9. Neat. Hopefully that's enough. Okay, they're gonna Thoughtseize me. I have nothing relevant to Thoughtseize. They're out of here. All right, cool. Okay, opponent is Reanimator, so I wonder if we want Deathrite Shaman here to try and nab a couple things out of their graveyard. That's the only thing I can really think of. Most of our game plan seems pretty good against their game plan. Hostile Investigator might be a liability. Yeah, I don't mind making that swap here. Let's take the discard out and bring in the Graveyard Hate. Looks good. channel Emrakul. What more could you want? We did see a little bit of hand attack out of them, but if they don't interact with us in the first 2 turns, we are probably going to lock this game up. And tap land definitely does not count as interacting with us. Nothing here either. Hopefully that's just GG. So here's my swamp, here's my channel. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Here it is. Okay, let's attack at least. Get in for 15 here. And we've got Mind Stone and Swamp, I guess. I don't know what they've got in their deck. I guess Solitude can answer this? Okay, they're done. GG's. Alright, we're headed into match 2 here. It looks like our team is 2-1 right now. So I took my match down and one of my teammates won, one of my teammates lost. So let's take a look at this hand here. We do have a Lotus for a potential turn 1 Gitrog, which is pretty good. We can also Once Upon a Time and see what we pick up from there. So turn 1 Nissa or turn 1 Gitrog, both really powerful. Let's keep. Oh, it's giving me priority because of the Once Upon a Time. Whoops. Oh, brutal. Well, it is what it is. I am going to lose the Lotus here. I can't imagine they can take anything besides the Black Lotus. Yeah, okay. Hostile Investigator. Yeah, okay, so we're going to start off with this. See what we get. And this is going to show us Fanatic of Ronus, which we can cast on turn 1 if we want. I think I'm going to take the slower line here. Grab the... Geez, well... If we take the Forest, the hand doesn't really do anything. But if we cast the Fanatic, it's basically the same thing. Geez, that grief was really brutal. I think we have to take the stable mana source here. And a Troll of Khazad-dûm in... Oh, that's second main. Okay, so they can play the Swamp. They're going to Surveil 1. Makes sense. Mana Vault. Okay, so that puts us up to 4 mana or 5 mana next turn. Oh no, we can have 5 mana this turn with the Spirit Guide. So if we cast the Mana Vault and then we tap it for 3 and then we Spirit Guide Nissa, that's pretty good. Alright, I don't think I care enough to smash the clue token, so I'm just going to crank out a 4/4 here. Mana Vault was a pretty good draw there. Definitely shored up the weaknesses of losing Black Lotus. Yep, another clue. Not going to block. And do they have a land drop? No land drop. Okay. I am not going to untap Mana Vault. I think I can always yield to this, probably. And then this is going to be... Yeah, we don't have anything to cast here. We're just going to keep making big creatures. And attack. Pyrokinesis. Okay. Opponent has been doing a lot of 2-for-1ing themselves, but Tamiyo does help recoup that card advantage, or card disadvantage, as it were. So, crack the clue, and we'll see another... Yeah, okay. Oh, interesting. Sandstone Needle is in this cube? That's fascinating. What an interesting include. I think I might have forgotten to mention it at the start of the draft here, but this is LSV's Vintage Cube. Okay. Opponent is blue-black stuff. Saw Grief, saw Pyrokinesis, so they're probably red. Probably missing out on that red source there. I don't know if you can hear those birds arguing outside my window, but they're sure there. I think we're going to leave this sideboard plan as is. I didn't see any good reason to bring in Graveyard Hate. We could play the Spirit Guide to try to get underneath Counter Magic, with the second Spirit Guide, that is. But we don't have any red spells. It's basically just like a really bad Lotus Petal. Yeah, I think I'm going to stick with this. Going to be on the draw this time. This hand looks a lot worse. None of the broken stuff. Too many lands. Let's mulligan. Interesting. This is a terrible Eureka hand, but it does have a 2-drop and a 4-drop. It's like fine. I think I'm going to keep it. I don't know if this is worth going down to 5. What is the bottom here, though? Regrowth seems kind of bad, honestly, with this hand. The best thing we're going to be able to regrowth in the early game is a Scavenging Ooze. And the Eureka gives us outs to doing something really broken. Okay. The Sandstone Needle is a lot scarier on turn 1, that's for sure. Okay, we can have a turn 3 Eureka now, if we need that. Netherglyph, okay. Fanatic of Ronus helps us ramp up into our stuff. So next turn we can either plot the Railway Brawler or we can cast the Eureka if we draw something that's worth doing that with. Okay, just cast the Grief. So I think that's fine. We still have outs into drawing something that's good with Eureka, or they could... Like, it'd be weird for them to take the Eureka here because it doesn't really do anything. I would probably take the Railway Brawler personally, but then we still have outs to draw something that breaks us out of this. Yeah, okay. Opponent came to the same conclusion. And the draw is Boseiju. Okay, that's not very good. So this is just going to be play Forest, cast Scavenging Ooze, pass the turn. Now the question is, are we willing to eat our own Railway Brawler? And I think the answer is yes. Strip Mine. Alright, so they're going to take me off of black. Okay, I think I'm going to block with the Fanatic here. Even if they have something, I can eat it with the Ooze. I guess removal spell pointed at the Ooze gets me here. Cast into the fire. 1 damage and 1 damage. Okay, so that makes this a 2/3, and then I just exile. No, I guess it lives. They just wanted it to live? 2 damage, that's a total of 3 damage on the Fanatic. Weird. Okay, I'm still gonna exile the cast into the fire. No, hang on, I should exile the Sandstone Needle instead. Because they could have another instant, but they're unlikely to have a second land. Okay, weird turn there. I think we came out of that exchange ahead. But our hand still is really quite bad. This is going to be like cast Elvish Spirit Guide or something. Which is not really where you want to be. Let's start off with this. Persist. We can persist back the Railway Brawler if we leave this on top. Okay. Fine. So now I don't really want to cast the Spirit Guide. Probably doesn't matter much if I cast the Spirit Guide. Let's just leave the Scavenging Ooze up just because of the Netherglyph. And then next turn we'll have a Railway Brawler. This is another good reason to hold the Spirit Guide because we can make it bigger if we put the counters on it using Railway Brawler. End step, I will activate targeting your spell. What a weird, scrappy little game. Let's start off with persist, target Railway Brawler. Black and green. That's going to turn on the Fanatic of Ronus, which will let us make an Elvish Spirit Guide. I'm gonna always yield to this, I think. Now we got a 4/4, and then I think we're good to go. Next turn we can crack in with our relatively large creatures. Not that large for Vintage Cube, but pretty large for this board state. Psychic Frog. Scary, but not that scary. It's going to be really hard for them to give it flying with this Scavenging Ooze on the battlefield. And yeah, I mean, they can discard cards, but I'm just going to eat them. Mind Stone, okay. I think I'm going to cast that and crack it immediately using the Fanatic mana. Portal to Phyrexia. So currently we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We can also Eureka it in. Maybe we should do that, actually, because even if they do put something scary in, they're going to have to sacrifice it to Portal. Interesting. Okay, let's put Eureka onto the stack. They selected nothing? Yeah, they're out of here. Okay. Yeah, they had no permanents in their hand. GG's. We are 2-0. All right, we're headed into match 3 here. The team draft is tied back up. I was the only one on my team to win that last match, so we're 3-3, which means it's going to come down to this last round. We are going to be on the play here. Opponent, I got to watch a little bit of their deck. They have a lot of blue-red kind of tempo-y control sort of, Ragavans and counterspells sort of thing. So let's take a look at this hand. Once Upon a Time and a couple of lands. I think this hand is fine. It's not that good, but I don't think it's worth mulliganing. We could dig for something truly broken, but I think this is close enough. I'm going to keep it. Ooh, bat. Okay, turn 1 bat is probably really good. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's take a peek. Fury is going to kill the bat. Saheeli and Trinket Mage. Yeah, this hand is pretty slow. I'm going to take the Fury because I want to have the bat. I don't know what the Trinket Mage is for. I didn't see all that much of their deck. But still, they have nothing going on until turn 3. Underground Mortuary is a great draw. Let's get a peek at the top of the deck before we do anything else. Portal to Phyrexia. Interesting. It's good with Nexus, but it's not going to get us any closer to casting Nexus, so I'm going to bin it. And the race is on. 19-21. A Talisman. Alright, that's going to ramp them up into the Saheeli a little bit faster. And Retrofitter Foundry. Pretty good draws from the opponent over there. I am kind of scared of this retrofitter. We'll see. It takes a couple of turns for it to start being able to block the Deep Cavern Bat, but it will eventually be able to do that. And we've drawn, geez, nothing but expensive spells here. One more land gets us to the Railway Brawler. Something like Channel would be really good here as well. Okay, there's the Trinket Mage. I'm guessing Mox or something like that. Skull Clamp. Pretty good with Retrofitter Foundry. Sick. Alright, we're going to have to close this game out pretty quickly here. Channel would be probably the best draw. Or yet another enormous drop. Okay. This is certainly the fail case of this deck sometimes. But I'm going to continue cracking in with the bat. And we're just going to have to pass the turn. Talon Gates of Madara. Yeah, this card is pretty neat. It phases something out when it enters the battlefield if you haven't seen it before, and you can also put it onto the battlefield at instant speed using its activated ability. Some people have been playing around with this card in Legacy lands because of its interaction with crop rotation, where you can just phase something out at instant speed from out of your deck. You can blank a blocker or get rid of something scary. Oh, interesting. They made... Oh, whoa, that's crazy. Okay, I was too busy monologuing. They made a second Skull Clamp, and now they're drawing 4 cards. That's pretty cracked. All right, here's our chance to draw Channel. Not quite. I think this game is slipping out of our grasp here. I think we want to attack the Saheeli. Just make sure that only activates once more. And let's plot this thing. Gonna crack the Arid Mesa and Cryptic Coat. All right, they're tapped out again, so we've still got a shot. Forest. Yeah, we're still 1 mana short from being able to cast any of our various things. So, yeah, I want to cast this thing. And yeah, we're going to crack in again. Let's go with the Saheeli. I don't think my opponent's life total matters that much. I've got, like, if I end up doing anything this game, it's going to be kill them with Triplicate Titan, Emrakul kind of stuff. But Nexus of Becoming is going to start going crazy here if we can find a 6th land. Okay. Imidane's Recruiter. They can't cast the scary half until next turn. But that's going to be pretty scary when they do cast it. Alright, can we see Channel? Channel or Eureka? Ooh. See, all you gotta do is ask. Alright, they might have counter magic for it. This is the first turn that they've actually left stuff up. Yep. Gonna kill the Sahili here. And next turn we're gonna take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 11 plus 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and the Recruiter. That's 21, plus the Skull Clamp is lethal if they see it. No, not quite lethal. I get to block a creature, and I also gain 1 life here. So I'll go to like 4, I think, if I did my math right. They can activate the Retrofitter Foundry and then cast the Imidane's Recruiter to give the Servo haste. And that should be enough to put me to 1, I think. Oh, well that definitely kills me. What a miserable line of text. ETB target player just can't block this turn. I don't think this card is very interesting. Yeah, that is going to kill me. That'll put me to a nice, almost exactly 0 actually. -1, I think? -3, okay. Yeah. Alright. I think we just didn't get off the ground quite fast enough. We have to keep a faster hand than that in the future. We also got just obscenely unlucky with our draws. I mean, we drew Emrakul, Portal, Triplicate Titan, Coveted Jewel, and Nexus of Becoming. So, it is what it is. Yeah, I think we can leave the sideboard plan the way it is. We just have to mulligan a little differently. This hand is very bad. Mulligan. This hand is a little bit better. We can find an extra land. Turn 3, Railway Brawler. Turn 4, Nissa. That might be good enough. Just might be. Alright, we're going to keep this one. We're going to put a forest back, because we do have this Once Upon a Time. It could be anything. It could even be a forest. Forest and pass. We can cast the Once Upon a Time next turn, as long as we cast it before the Mind Stone. Then we get an extra draw step to see what's going on. Deep Cavern Bat. Maybe we can find a black source. Yep, Blooming Marsh. Is this better? I think it is. We still get to cast the Nissa ahead of curve, even if we don't get to have the Railway Brawler. Daze, okay. Interesting. I feel like that's a really good exchange for us, probably. Tapped Sacred Foundry. Ooh, okay. So if we forest and then we mana vault, we will have a total of 5 mana. And then we could Mind Stone and Railway Brawler, or we can just slam the Nissa onto the battlefield, which I think is also fine. Let's Nissa. Green, green, and 3. For Nissa, Ascended Animist. There's my 4/4. Go ahead. Alright, the island's back. There's a Generous Plunderer. Often a scary card, but I'm feeling pretty rolled up right now. Don't need to pay for that. We've drawn Forest for turn, so let's plot the Brawler. I think that's fine. Let's go to attacks first. Bang. They can put some damage on Nissa if they want, but it's I don't know. I don't think that matters very much. Plot this guy. Damaging Nissa does make the creatures smaller, but Railway Brawler makes them much bigger, so. They've given me a treasure token. I'm going to take 2 damage here. So they can hit me for 4 if they want. I'm still winning the race. They're attacking Nissa. Okay. I cannot block. Why does it let me do this? Okay. Should I untap this? I think so. I am slowly hemorrhaging life here, and my spell this turn is free, so this is a good opportunity to spend that mana doing that, I think. Get in for 9. And then Railway Brawler for free. They've got something. Cryptic Command, maybe? Oh, it is Cryptic Command. Okay, well, good thing I cast this second main. That would have been a blowout. Counter, target spell, and bounce my 5/5. Yeah, that's fine. Gonna make a 4/4. Peatland. And I think it's just gonna be Peatland go. They want to give me another treasure. So I think I'm going to draw off of the Peatland. Yeah, I have like so much mana here. I'll end up with 7, 8 mana next turn. I don't think the difference between 8 and 10 is going to be a lot. That still doesn't get me to Blightsteel or Emrakul. Also, if they don't have some kind of interaction or a blocker, they actually just can't attack here. Do have them dead on board if they tap their creature. Talisman of Progress. And Skull Clamp. Okay, so they get to block and draw 2 cards next turn. Oh, they're attacking. They're attacking me. Okay, so as I said, I'm going to crack this and draw a card. Portal to Phyrexia. and then I will declare no blocks. I'm going to take 3 down to 8, and then I'm going to attempt to kill them on the backswing. I didn't realize you could actually pay for Mana Vault even if it's already untapped. That's pretty funny. So let's take a look here. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, this is 9 mana. But let's attack first and see. Swords, okay. So they're going to take 4 down to 3, and then I am going to make another Phyrexian Horror token. And let's cast this. This spell is usually not bad to put onto the stack. They will get 2 cards out of it. So they're up to 5 cards in hand. I have 2 lethal attackers. I have a Portal to Phyrexia. Target. Probably just target the bat, honestly. It's kind of a funny target, but I would like to peek at their hand. Mystic Confluence. So this is going to be bounce, bounce, draw, targeting my tokens. Pretty good. Walking Ballista, Headliner, Scarlet, and Cryptic Coat. So Ballista can be cast for X equals 3 next turn. So I'm priced into taking the Ballista, otherwise it just kills the bat. Scarlet is not enough to kill the Nissa. Yeah, they're putting up a fight, but I do think I have to take the Ballista. Are we willing to spend 4 mana to untap the Mana Vault here? I don't think so. I'm fine taking 1 damage here. Okay, Scavenging Ooze. It's good. It's a good draw, I think. Yeah, okay, let's run out the Mind Stone. Let's make our XX. And we'll make a Scavenging Ooze as well. Is it worth keeping up the double green or worth keeping up the Mind Stone activation? Not sure. I'm gonna leave up the Scavenging Ooze activations instead. So now I have 2 lethal threats, given that I can grow this Scavenging Ooze. Tomb puts them, oh, okay. Cute. Alright, I'm gonna head to sideboard. Again, I think this build is pretty good. We want to be leaning into the broken stuff, and the only consideration I have here is Simian Spirit Guide. I'm just so skeptical that putting a colorless Lotus Petal is worth it in this deck. And we are on the draw, expectedly. This hand has literally no lands in it, so that's probably not good. Mulligan. This one's fine. If we find a green source, we can channel out the Blightsteel, and if not, Mana Vault might get us somewhere. So I'm going to keep this. I think I want to put the Duress away. It could also be the Mind Stone. The Mind Stone probably isn't going to matter in a channel and Mana Vault hand. Put the Mind Stone away. Then we can check them for counter magic. Currency converter. That card is really good against duress. That's kind of funny. I wonder if maybe we just don't want to duress them now. Yeah, we probably still do. The consideration there being if we lean on forest, then we can turn to channel if we find the other forest. Oh, well, this card is really good against Blightsteel Colossus, so let's get rid of that. And they don't have Ragavan mana yet. Jace plus currency converter is definitely a combo. Scrapwork Mutt. Okay. Pitching the Talisman makes sense. No blocks. And Nexus of Becoming. Another card that is very good with channel. I'm going to run out the Mana Vault here. I'd rather just get it under counter magic, I think. Yep, there's the Ragavan. And they hit Underground Mortuary. A green source, but not an untapped one, so not the end of the world. I'm not going to untap my Mana Vault. And there's our untapped green source. All right, let's do it. This is going to be channel. And we can't really Blightsteel here. So let's see. If we pay, we would have to go to 1 to make a Blightsteel, so that would kill us. So we're probably going to want to pay 3 plus the Mana Vault. We can also pay the Swamp. So let's do this. That brings us up to 4 mana. Yeah, we could have just cast this Nexus. Oh well. Can I activate this as a mana ability? Oh, I sure can. Let's draw a card. Ooh, that's a good one. We get another card, and their last card is Ragavan, which we can just block. But they also get another 2/2. So we block one of their 2/2s. We take 4. They probably don't try to get in with the Ragavan. They could make us take 6 if they do that. All right, well, probably should have done the math on the Nexus, because now I'm at 14, or I'm at 11 instead of 14 for no reason. Or rather, 13. Yeah, would have been at 13. Oh, they flipped the Jace, yeah. Rag gets in. Yeah, I don't think it's likely that we win this game, unfortunately. We can take the Ragavan, but their board presence is just too much. Well, at least we don't have to draw that. Looks like one of my teammates won. So we're now up a match, but I'm about to lose this match, so. Regrowth. So we can twist them for 2 and make a 3/3 Blightsteel Colossus. But that is probably not good enough. Let's see what we draw off of the Nexus. Black Lotus. Okay. So we can make a Blightsteel Colossus. But we have nothing to... We literally just have nothing to do with this Black Lotus or really any of the other cards. I am going to play it out, and the reason for that is I have to untap the Mana Vault to be alive. Right, we can Mind Twist them. We also need them to draw Stone Cold Nothing. And then we can use the Black Lotus to untap the Mana Vault to remain at 1 life. That's what we've got. And then we have to find our way through the rest of the currency converter. Oh, it looks like my other teammate also won. So the outcome of this match is not going to matter. We have become victorious in the team draft. Oh, I forgot about the scrapwork mode. I was just super dead anyway. Okay. Didn't matter. Had no outs. Cool. So a 2-1 with this deck. This was the only time in all the matches that I actually cast Black Lotus, and it did Stone Cold Nothing. And I am just dead right here. Pretty funny. Conclusive proof that Black Lotus is not a good Magic card. Alright, let me pull the deck up here. It is hard to see this deck like this. How do I... Can I move these cards over? They're sorted by mana value, so... Funny. Alright, deck was pretty cool. Channel is broken. And no real cool new cards to talk about in this one. Nexus of Becoming is new-ish, I guess. But I think that card is pretty neat. Yeah, not much to say. I wish we had gotten to do the Black Lotus thing, but we did get to do the channel thing a bunch of times. That was kind of exciting. And I'm going to continue working on trying to bring new cubes to the channel. But the Divination, of course, is a server that was started by LSV, so it is understandable that LSV's cube is the one that gets drafted the most. Well, we'll see what I can come up with for next time. We'll see you around.